All right. So we should be live right now.
Yeah, live.
We are live.
Hi, Pepper.
Hi, Chris. How are you, hon?
Good, I'm good.
All right. So here we are. We have another 4 weeks of quarantine.
Yes.
Right?
May 15th. Like, why?
I can't even believe it. This is crazy.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's going to be like a mutiny.
Another 4 weeks.
Revolution. The freedom revolution.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do, but I mean, I'm trying to do little things to make it feel like I'm out and about, like ordering food in, which is fun because you feel like you're going to a restaurant. I started using my foot to flush the toilet like I'm in a bar.
Yeah, different things.
It's just the little things. So we have an amazing show tonight.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. This is pretty exciting.
This is big time, man. He's like a big time choreographer. He's amazing. And I'm going to talk about all of his really cool credits. I mean, 3-time Emmy nominee. What?
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
Award-winning choreographer. This is like crazy stuff.
I know.
This is like our most famous guest right now.
Oh,
the
most.
I'm a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous too. I am, but I think we're gonna have a good time with him. He's got a great personality. He's funny. And before we get started with him, though, I'm gonna share a choreography story about me with you.
Okay.
And our viewers. All right. So when I was in Annie in the play, we rehearsed in the summer in the city in a rehearsal studio. And I loved hanging out with the adults and the chorus girls. And
how old were you at the time? Give me.
I was 11.
Okay.
So I was 11, hanging out with all these adults and learning all the dances and stuff. And I wasn't, I never really took a lot of dance lessons. I wasn't really a dancer, but one of the women in the show gave me these black character shoes, black patent leather character shoes. And they had a little heel, and I was so excited to wear them. So I would wear them to rehearsal, and I was trying to do the dances. And Martin Charning comes over to me, and he goes, "Honey, take off the shoes." And I was like, "But I love them." He goes, "You're a terrible dancer."
Oh my God, break a little kid's heart. What was that, like 13 years ago?
Huh? What? I didn't think I was terrible. I mean, I knew I wasn't,
right.
I wasn't going to be the next Ginger.
Never taken any formal. Did you go to like dance when you were a kid, like that, to get ready?
Yeah, I mean, I took classic, Long Island dancing school where it's more about the price of the costume and the recital than really learning how to dance. I did that, but I think I've gotten better.
Okay.
Over the years.
Well, I've seen you dance.
We can't judge by the condition you've seen me dancing in. Okay, that's not fair.
Let's just say it was interesting. It was a mix of the robot.
Yeah, it was.
And some like funky town stuff. I don't know what was going on.
And I had my neck brace on too.
I had the neck brace on,
which was really cool.
I do like it because after that moment of you dancing at our Christmas party for the GCC, 2 minutes later, we're like, "Where's Rosanne?" And she was on the couch recovering.
I was done. I was done. It was crazy. So, so in honor of our esteemed guest this evening, Mr. Fred Tallaksen, I am drinking Prosecco.
Nice.
Because I felt like this was a really super special occasion.
It is. That's why I broke out the Grey Goose again.
Nice. Very good. So cheers, Mr. Grando. Now, I want to give our audience a little something fun to see before I bring Fred on. So I'm going to show you I'm going to share my screen. That's not what I wanted to see, though. I wanted to see.
Yeah, right there goes.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, this one's good.
This is a little taste of the Wells Fargo commercial that Fred choreographed. How hot was that?
That's pretty good.
Let's bring Fred on.
Yeah, bring him on.
All right, let's bring him on. We got it. We got to get Fred on here now. All right, so Fred, start the video. I'm unmuting you.
Oh, there he is. Fred, you look.
Sorry, I was getting tired waiting, so I had to bring in the mannequin.
Hi,
Hey,
Fred.
guys.
How are you?
I'm doing really good, thank you.
So we just showed your Wells Fargo commercial that you did.
Yeah.
Before we get going, I did some homework. Okay, so
Uh-oh.
you've won multiple awards, including the American Choreography Award, the E-Spirit Award. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yep.
The award.
Yep.
Okay, and you are a 3-time Emmy nominee for Outstanding Choreographer.
Yes.
That's great. That is amazing. Yes. And you have choreographed not just dancers. And we're going to talk about all the different types of people that you have done choreography for, and all of the different shows, including some of my very, very favorites, like Santa Clarita Diet, Modern Family.
My favorite.
The list goes on. The Arrested Development, The Kids Are All Right. You choreographed the Emmy Awards, for crying out loud. That's amazing. So, and of course, we're going to talk about Madonna. Right?
That's a big deal.
Yes.
So let's just talk first, Fred.
Yes.
What everybody doesn't know, all 10 people I think who are watching right now, what they don't know is that we met many, how many years ago did we meet?
84, so 36. Wait, 36?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was 6.
You were 15, maybe 16?
16.
I was
16, getting on a train by myself.
I was 20. I mean, first of all, I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania originally. And so I had just really started dancing. I had been singing in high school, but I got really serious about it. And I was a voice major in Scranton, and I was taking dance lessons constantly from my amazing teacher, Gail Erkley, who's in Jessup. But I started to go into New York on the bus to take dance class because you got to get to New York, you got to meet the people, you got to figure everything out. And so I would take the bus in, and it was the summertime. And so I had the summer off. My friend Gerard McDonald, he lived in Lindenhurst. And so it was either 11 or 9 brothers and sisters. You stop counting after a certain amount.
Really?
But I went and stayed with him at his house. He helped get me a job at Chateau Le Maire.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which we used to call Chateau Le Maire. And I was a busboy. I couldn't even be a waiter, but I would work there on the weekends, and then I would take the Long Island Railroad into Manhattan to take dance class. And so when I didn't know anybody, so I'm waiting at the outdoor train station. So because the train's above ground there, so you go up on the platform, and we met going into New York, right?
We did. We met going into New York. I don't really remember how we started talking.
I do.
You?
Yes. So, this is the time of fame and flash dance and the solid gold dancers and PM evening dancers. And it was like, dance everywhere. So yeah. I wore my outfit that I would wear when I was going to take class. White jazz shoes, 2 pairs of leg warmers, short shorts, like those dolphin shorts, wife beater, cut off midriff. I had a mullet down to here, little bleach, whatever Madonna, Desperately Seeking Susan sunglasses you could get, my dance bag waiting. And you came up to me. Well, we saw each other more than once. And then the one day you said, "Are you a dancer?" And I was like, "Yeah, how did you know?"
What gave it away?
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
What gave it away? I was probably doing fan kicks and splits at the train station. But I said, "Why, yes, I am." And I said, she said, "You said, are you going in to take class?" And I said, "Yeah." "What are you going in for?" And you said, "Oh, I'm an actress and I have an audition." And I was like, "You're the first person I met who was really working in the business." And I was like, "Really? Well, what are you going out for and whatnot?" And you basically said, "Well, I'm in musical theater and I was in the musical Annie. And I was like, you were in Annie? What did you play? And you were like, Annie. And I was like, you look like Annie. I met Annie. And I was freaking out. I was like, that's so amazing, Rosanne. And we just became friends.
Good.
And we would take the train at the same time. I'd go to class, you'd go to auditions or whatever. And I went home and I was telling my friend Gerard and his family, I met Annie. And they're like, oh yeah, Rosanne, she lives down the street or whatever. And so they all knew who she was because she and Debbie Gibson were like killing it for Long Island, right?
There you go.
Debbie Gibson really killed it. I tried to kill it, but you
were better. I liked you better.
My feelings aren't hurt.
Debbie.
How long did you guys take the train? And how did you see each other a lot on the train, or was it like that one time and then?
I was only there for like the summer, so it was a couple months, and that part of my brain is a little.
Yeah, but I know I took a day.
All summer we went. I mean, probably we saw each other 5 to 10 times on the train. Wow. We went to class together.
I knew I was in over my head when we got in the class. And Fred is like killing it, going, you have to do these dance moves going across the floor, and everybody's doing it. I'm like, uh-oh, here comes Henrietta Hippo, doesn't know what she's doing.
I took her to advanced jazz class at Broadway Dance Center. We're doing like PK, turn, jump, turn. And she's like, oh God, what did you do to me? And she never came back, but I'm like, come on, you can do it. Yeah.
Danced, oh my God, Martin Charm told me I was the worst dancer he'd ever seen. So that's
you were good and you were a lot of fun.
And we met and then we stayed. Well, we lost touch for a little while, but I never ever forgot you.
Yeah.
And I would say when I was moving into my house many years ago, I came across a box of all my stuff, and I tried to find it, but I have boxes in my garage packed away. I couldn't. I still have your headshot that you signed for me.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of that back then. I really thought I was hot shit.
Yeah, well, you are hot shit, so it's all good. It's all good.
Well, that's all sweet, but after eventually, this is the time when there's no phones. I was sleeping on a couch at someone's house. I think maybe I remember calling you from there, but I didn't really have a number. Then I did move to New York. I lived in Aruba. I back to New York. I was on tour with Cats, and I think I was on tour with Starlight Express, which I had to learn how to roller skate for, which that's the bridge to Madonna eventually. But I was backstage talking to the company manager, and the PR lady was out. We were in Washington, DC. And so he was like, oh, this is Anita Deloniak, and she worked on Annie. And I was all like, you worked on Annie? And I just, made a mental note, because it was at least 10 years later. And she was telling this funny story, how people would call for tickets, and they would say, well, what if Andrea McArdle isn't on, or whatever it was going to be, whoever was playing. And she would say, I'm not going to guess at who's going to go on from the understudies. So her name was Anita Deloniak. And so they say, well, if Andrea McArdle's not on, who's gonna play it? And she would say, Anita Deloniak. And like, they would never know the difference. She goes, what am I gonna do? Say it's Rosanne Sorrentino? And I went, she's my friend. You know Rosanne Sorrentino? I know her from Long Island. So
that's funny.
And that was like, in the middle of, and I thought to myself, I wonder what she's doing. I wonder what's going on with her. So
yeah, and I kept, once we connected again on Facebook, and I started to see all the really cool, great things you were doing, I was like, oh, good for, I was so genuinely happy for you, because I know that, once you achieve a certain level, people, they say they're happy, but really they're like, why him and not me? But no, I'm genuinely so happy for you. And when I watch your work and see the things you do, it's like, it blows me away. So that Wells Fargo commercial, like, so those were drummers.
Yes.
And then they're choreographing skaters and cheerleaders and gymnasts. How do you,
and hookers,
BMX riders?
Honey, this is how first of all, I was the ADD kid who, like, I never stopped. So my sisters are taking baton twirling lessons. They leave. They're like going like this, and they leave. I'm like this. I'll figure this shit out right now. I was in the backyard doing tricks, back, and in the splits. Boom, got it. I was always that kind of kid. always at the roller rink, always doing disco dancing with my sister. But when I got to New York, it would be like, there's an audition, it's at this time, and you show up and there's 500 people for 5 jobs or 4 jobs. And when if you even get it to the front of the line and they say, can you ride a unicycle? And you say, yeah, I could ride a unicycle. Can you drum? Yes, I can drum. Can you, whatever they ask you to do, you say you can do it and you figure that shit out, because otherwise you're not even going to get a chance. And so because of that, like I tumbled, I sang, I learned to skate, I did drumming, I did all kinds, you know. And so when I started choreographing, I would be like, how do I know how to do this? Oh, because I did that crazy stomp thing. How do I know how to do this? Oh, that's because blah, blah, blah. And so it's really fun because I never get bored. And I've gotten to choreograph so many different, like circus kind of stuff, like real dancing or musical theater or hip hop, and then aerial people and swinging and BMX and skateboards. And I did a lot of skating jobs when I first moved to LA. When I first started choreographing, and rollerblade, I was on team rollerblade. And you know, it's just an extension of being in New York and having a giant dream and having someone squash you every 5 seconds. And so you learn to just say, yeah, I could do it. And here we go. I'm going to do it.
You are, and you have used all of those skills. And so that was the start of your career was in New York, or was it really when you moved to LA?
No, you know what, when I was in New York, I went on tour and I would always come back to New York, but the entire time, you know, people would say, oh, are you from LA? And I'd say, no, why? Well, you know, I have a highlighted mullet down to here and I'm tan, and like, I was so LA-ish anywhere because I had been a lifeguard. I have that whole LA vibe. And New York at that time was like Jerome Robbins Broadway and remakes and like Heidi Ho and like technical. And I was like, had all this hair, and I was more of a pop kind of person, and I was singing a lot. But that's when I was like performing so all the time. When I moved to LA, which was probably, I don't know, I was probably 27 already. I had already done a million shows, and I didn't know it, but I was done with being a performer only. And I like to be on the other side. So instead of like being able to perform and work on shows I have the right look and whatnot. When you're a choreographer or a director, you can do anything. So you're not like just pushed into that one little, that's, you know, kind of like cubby hole or whatever. And so that was really fun for me. And like when you take the focus off of yourself constantly, you know, it actually is, there's a lot of freedom that goes with that, you know. And you intimated about celebrities, and I've choreographed a gazillion television since the 90s. A celebrity, B celebrity, C, see you later celebrity, you know. And you know, you can't go anywhere if you're, and it isn't, it's 95% of the time the recognition is not going to be good. You can't ever go to the supermarket in your pajamas or like not do your hair or your face, and because
you always have to be on. You always have to be on your game.
It's a hard life, and you know, the higher you go and the better you do, the more they want to knock you down.
Yeah. He said it's a hard knock life.
Yeah, it's a hard knock life. That's all you.
It's a hard knock life. But when I moved to LA, I started choreographing, and then it was like this amazing sort of journey I never planned on. I didn't know it was going to happen, but when it clicked, then I made up my mind. This is it. I figured this is what I'm supposed to do. And so it's been like since the mid 90s, maybe. That's all I've been doing really, and going from one job to the next. And it's been great. It's been really great. And I like being able to work on something that maybe a gazillion people are going to see, but they don't know that I did it. And I can go home and go to Ralph's and come home, and no one knows it was me. And I don't care if they know it was me. I know that I did it, and my work is like on that sort of like level. But then I just go back to being a normal person, because I really am just, you know, down to earth person from Scranton.
You really are. You really are. Michael Scott territory. Chris, did you have a question?
Yeah,
I know you have some things you wanted to ask Fred about.
Yeah, I wanted to ask because Fred, I did a lot of research on you, probably more than I've done with anybody, because I wanted to be a little prepared. I saw this really cool thing you did, which was Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah.
Which was really pretty awesome, man. Like, so did you want to be a singer? I had listened to a podcast where you were talking about starting out trying to be a singer first, but the grind of that and kind of led you. But the Freddie Mercury thing that's amazing.
I mean, amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started singing in like rock bands when I was like 17 and 18. And I loved singing, and I was a voice major in college, and I that's all I wanted was to sing and record. And so I did that for like the whole beginning of my career. And I've had a couple little record deals with the boy band things or whatever, and like I was playing the lead in Starlight Express in Vegas, and it was not what I thought it was gonna be. It was like the joy of singing, and like it's so great, and it feels so great on opening night, and then you have to do it 8 times a week. You have to save your voice. People feel they can say anything about you, and could be so hard on you. It's so subjective. One person loves your voice, one person hates it. And when you sing that much, like you're always saving your voice. Did
that criticism, did that stick with you, or were you more like a duck and you can just let it roll? Or when you get a review like that.
Yeah, it made me realize that the reality of having a career as a singer, even if you're a famous recording artist, is not what I thought it was going to be. And I rolled with the punches and went with it. But at a certain point, I was like, I don't want to. I love singing. I'll sing in the car. I'll sing in the shower. I don't need to sing on stage in a show. And you have to sing the way they tell you, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine that. Well, I remember when I was auditioning, it always came down to whether it was a singing role or an acting role. It was me and these 2 other girls, and it was always the same 2 girls, and the same one girl always got it. And I'm like, well, you know who you want. Why are you even bothering? It was, and it kind of, especially at 16. I was
it's got to just be like another punch to the gut. Like, come on, like, give me a break.
Yeah. It's the worst day of junior high every day.
It's you equate your self-worth over how you did at an audition or how someone did in a show, and even if you have a brilliant thing, like that's almost like a curse, because by the time everyone sees that, you're already a little bit older, you're on to the next thing. Right. It's hard to live up to the successes that you have. And it's a very rough thing on anybody. So, I think that's why it's great to do different things all the time, and just instead of doing just one.
You're happier behind the scenes than you are being in front, if right now.
Yeah, and and sometimes I end up performing too. But anyway, so you were asking me about Freddie Mercury. So
yeah, that was unbelievable.
Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent.
Okay.
Basically, I'm a child of the 80s. I could sing all the Journey and Loverboy and Billy's, all those super high songs. And so I have a very super high voice. I was in LA. They were doing a show at Knott's Berry Farm, Dead Monsters of Rock. And my friend was choreographing it and directing it. And they had everybody cast. It was like all like kind of famous rock stars who were dead. And so they knew they wanted to have Freddie Mercury, and they didn't find anybody to audition, this, that, and the other. And so he knew I could sing it. So he asked me, did you want to come down and do it? And I thought, well, I don't know if I could really do it. And then I got the fake teeth, and I got the mustache,
clearly
I got the haircut, and I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking Freddie Mercury right now. And I could sing the shit out of that stuff. And I was like in great shape. And that was like 1996. And I did for like a whole 3 months at Halloween, 5 shows a night. I opened the show, and it was like, I thought in the beginning, it's a theme park. It's like Buena Park, and like, it's kind of a rough neighborhood. Here comes Freddie Mercury, he died of AIDS, and like, but the people would just go, buddy, you're a boy. They would just freak. It was fun.
It's awesome.
One of the best things I ever did.
Everybody go to Fred's website, and Rosanne will give it later, and find that video. It's freaking awesome. That was my favorite thing that I found. I was like, this is unbelievable.
It is. It's amazing. In addition to the millions of talents that you have, that is not. I mean, Freddie Mercury is not easy to sing. Probably, I would guess one of the top 3 most difficult.
Voice is insanely hard to reach.
Yeah.
All the octaves that he
You
hits.
gotta have a high voice for that.
Yeah.
So,
You can roller skate, that's a big deal.
and you can roller skate. Yes.
I love skate. I love skating. I still go rollerblading all the time, like for exercise and whatnot.
Oh, that's
Super fun.
great.
Yeah.
I don't see rollerblading that much on Long Island anymore. People don't rollerblade anymore.
My
People
friend,
don't get out of the house that much anymore, though. They're all playing their video games.
well,
So-
kids do the skateboard thing. My friend Ryan, he's a professional skater, he was doing some show and they were like, "What's the hardest thing about being a rollerblader?" And he goes, "Telling your parents you're gay."
That's funny.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So, all right. So, can we talk about the Emmys for a minute?
Yes.
All right. So, 3-time nominee, 2004, 2006, 2017. Do you remember what you were nominated for? What
Oh,
show
yeah.
you were nominated for?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, the first 2 nominations were from the show Malcolm in the Middle,
Okay.
which I choreographed on that show. Happily, what a great job that came out of nowhere for all 7 seasons. And I mean, and honestly, if you're on the show and you have a contract, you're in the show. If you have a part, so I would, as a choreographer, a lot of times with these TV shows, if it's a episode that has a little dance thing in it or a big dance thing in it, they'll find a choreographer who specializes in that kind of dance. Oh, there's a tango, they'll find a tango choreographer. And then, oh, there's cheerleaders in a couple other episodes. We'll find someone to do the cheerleading. Oh, there's a skating thing. Well, anyway, so the first season of that show, Bryan Cranston had to do this funny roller skating thing, and the producer called me because they heard me from another show. And this is like 2001 or 2, maybe. It's like it's in the beginning, and they were like, "We need someone who can choreograph some roller skating and could maybe teach him how to skate." And so I ended up getting that job, and I mean, I worked with him every day for almost 3 weeks, getting ready for the episode, and then he learned to skate. He was great. So then that was really, really great. And then like about 3 or 4 weeks later, the producer calls and says, "Do we have a thing with cheerleading? Could you do cheerleading?" Yes, I could do cheerleading. And it was the same thing I was saying before. And every single thing I did, show choir, this, that, square dancing. And luckily I got to do something the whole 7 years, which was great. And a couple of those episodes were big, giant dance things. I got nominated twice for choreography. So, and a lot of those people, most shows, they don't last that long, and so for 7 seasons, they go into syndication. I was so happy that I pushed them to say, I could do the cheerleading, hire me. And then I did everything for the whole time.
And then they were just like, Fred can do it. And then what was the 2017 nomination for?
So there was a show, well, you probably heard, it's called The Real O'Neills.
Oh, yes.
It was on ABC, and one of the high school age boy he was gay, and it was so like the perfect family, the perfect mom and the dad and the kids, and then you find out they all have stuff, and the kid's gay, like, hey, this is us, we are what we are. And so he would have these like fantasy scenes, so that it would be like reality, and then he would click, and then it would be this, and it was usually gay, big scene or whatever. And so I got to choreograph all those. It was so fun. And then in the second season, well, actually for Emmys, more recently for episodic, that's a whole other story, because getting nominated for an Emmy in a TV world that has Dancing with the Stars, So You Think You Could Dance, America's Next Best Dance Crew, which they spend, that's all it is dancing. Yeah. Episodic, it's like 30 seconds. You can't really compete with that. So they let us nominate from 3 different episodes. So luckily I had 3 really strong episodes, and I got nominated, which was amazing.
Now, Chris, I know you had a question.
Yeah. So when you go and you get nominated, is it like, are you there like doing it like is that the daytime event? Like, how is that? Is it the regular Emmy show?
Yeah, so different years it's differently, but most of the time it's called the Creative Arts Emmys. Okay. It's the week before the real Emmys. And so they shoot it, and then they might play excerpts of it during the real.
So when they announce the winner, are you pissed that you didn't win, or you do the obligatory, oh, I'm so happy I was just nominated, or you just like, come on, man.
You're pissed. No, I don't. You listen. I you see that the person you're nominated against did a 19,000-minute number that was like the most incredible thing. That's so you think you dance, and your people are doing like a jazz square. Like you know you're not going to beat Mandy Moore or whoever else. Who she's a good friend of mine, by the way. But it's always different. And like the one that was recently, well, you're always at the show in the audience. And where you're sitting, you could be like, well,
Right.
4 of us are sitting here and so-and-so's right in the front. I wonder if they're gonna win.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that. You know what I mean?
Are you nervous when they're about to call it, like, this is it? This is third time's a charm. This is it. 2017, I'm winning.
It's so nerve-wracking
It is,
because at that point, you lose all sense of like, am I gonna win? Am I not gonna win it? And you're like, I could in any second have to go up there and make a speech.
Did you write it?
That's the other thing.
Did you write the speech? Yeah.
No, but
rip.
like I knew what I was gonna have to say. I had it sort of memorized, but yeah, but and like you're almost relieved when you don't win because there's been this giant buildup and you just want to know. And like when they say, you know, you didn't win, okay, it's over. You could chill. If you won, which would be great, you still have to go up and they're going to be on camera and who knows what would come out of my mouth. I haven't stopped talking since I got on. You see how I am.
Rosanne, would you ever write a speech if you like would you be prepared to go up and like do your thing?
I would probably write names down because I wouldn't want to forget names, but I do already have my speech prepared.
It's ready.
I do.
Let's hear it.
And it's ready to go. And my mother knows that she's the person who's going to be on the red carpet with me and at the award show. So it's all prepared.
You didn't put any thought into this.
I just need to do something that's award worthy.
Yeah, that's the last piece. And then you're fine.
Which one do you want? A Tony, an Emmy, or an Academy Award?
Ooh.
Wow.
Or Miss America. Miss America.
Yeah, no. I think I really I mean, who wouldn't love an Academy Award? But I think I'd really like an Emmy.
Yeah.
I think I'd really like an Emmy. I'd love
Do you go off for television roles?
What?
Do you go out for any television roles?
I have recently, because you know, I'm an assistant principal in a middle school. So my job is, well, I know people always say, oh, teachers have the greatest life, but my job is a full-time job and I can't just be taken off here and there to go.
My mom was a teacher too. I get it.
Right.
The hardest working people on earth.
But now I have 3 years till I retire. So I've started to dip my toe into the world of possibly
Stand up.
You know, getting back into it. It is ultimately what I feel like I'm going to definitely be doing once I retire.
You're going to be on a sitcom. You're going to come to LA and you're going to, I see it. If you have auditions or whatever, you could stay with me. Just like the old days.
Oh, that would be amazing. From your lips to God's ears.
Exactly. Boom, boom, boom.
Right?
Tell the head.
So Fred, I just need to know though, for me, this is for me, but I bet everybody's kind of wondering. The first time you're nominated, right? How did you find out? And kind of what went through your head?
Okay, so the first time I got nominated, I didn't submit the piece from Malcolm in the Middle. They did. I didn't even know I was even could be considered. And I was choreographing on a little old soap opera called Days of Our Lives. Do you know that show?
I do.
And they call you in as the choreographer at 5 a.m. because there's a little pre-rehearsal before the camera block, before they start shooting, which is when they're putting the makeup on the chicks. And so I get there super, super early. I do my little scene. I don't know what they were doing. And then you get a dressing room and then you wait for them to call you. And as you wait, you try really hard not to fall asleep because you're in a room with a nice comfy couch and you might not have to work till 3 p.m. I'm laying on the couch trying to stay awake and I hear through the intercom, oh, and Emmy nominations came out today and our resident choreographer, Fred Tallaksen, got nominated. And I was all like, I thought I was like dreaming or whatever. And I was like, did he just say my name? No, he did. And so I went upstairs and I was like, and then my phone started ringing and ringing. And I was like, I got nominated for an Emmy. That's so crazy. I didn't even know the first time. Ever since then, you submit the pieces, you look and wait, you know what's happening. And so you, if it's a year with it, you submitted something good. You hope you got it. And so ever since then, you kind of have an idea if you have a chance while you're actually on set doing it. And you're like, this has the feeling of like, this really could be that.
Right.
And then it isn't. Then they chop it up, and but
yeah, the editors, they kill you.
But for me, honestly, it just having the first nomination was to have 3. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so blessed and grateful. And it makes some people like they didn't win. They don't mean it when they say just to be nominated. But for me, I truly, truly feel that way. I'm just so happy that I have anything to say. Look, I got nominated at least,
I mean, it's very cool, even to be able to say that, I mean, yes, ultimately only one person can win and everybody kind of hopes they're going to win. But really, how many people can say they were even nominated? Not many,
Yeah.
So that's really quite an amazing achievement. And how do you make the non-dancers on shows look so darn good?
Well, it sort of is my specialty. And so it's like you have to, anytime an actor sees that they have to dance, if they have any kind of a insecurity, they're already freaking out before they even meet you. So the first thing I tell them is, my job is to make you look great and feel comfortable. I'm not going to teach you something that you can't do, that you're going to struggle with. Let's work together and find what feels good for you and what moves will help you. And just relax. We're all alone. No one's watching. Let's just go through this a little bit. And like, no matter what dance style it is, you can teach an actor like something funny that they can do. And as soon as they realize it's more about the acting than 5, 6, 7, 8, then they invest and they feel comfortable. And that's how you do it. You have to gain their trust.
Yep. That's great. That's amazing. Because they all look.
Bro, I have a question. Do you think Fred could train the DCRP to do a dance number? Is that
Can I say the F word?
Running club with
Yes,
tag?
Dude, we'll do a flash mob. I'll teach it all on video. Are you kidding me?
That'll be unbelievable.
Everybody could dance. Put your hand up in the air.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Do that.
Yeah, I'm in. Look
You're
at
dancing.
You're dancing.
I
love that.
I'm double dance. This is what
Chris
I'm doing.
was very excited. He loved your sizzle reel.
How do you have a sizzle reel? I didn't even know that existed. We need one.
You need one. A sizzle reel is important. For choreography, most of the stuff that you see like in a film or a music video or whatever, it's so quick cut that the impression of what the choreography is like. So you can't really see these like long drawn out blocks of choreography and whatnot. And so, let's say you just started choreographing last year and you did 4 big jobs. Your reel could look just as good as mine. And I've been choreographing for 35 years.
Right. Is it super competitive?
Yes.
Is it like everybody has a reel? They all.
When I first started choreographing, the space in between the dancers and the choreographer was vast. You were a choreographer. It was like you had this whole other thing. You couldn't just say I'm a choreographer and the dancers. But now with all these dance shows and all this dance in America, and there's a billion dancers and all of them can choreograph. They all can, and they all do. So basically, it's very competitive in that way.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
I have to just stray for a minute because I know she was trying to get on and I don't know if she was able to, but you and I both have someone that we know in common. Do you remember Donna Moran?
Yes. Madonna.
Yeah.
She was a Madonna impersonator that I worked with.
We do stand-up comedy together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I know she wanted to, and she texted me in the middle of this, so I couldn't really answer her, but I wanted to make sure that I brought it up. And she was like, She calls me the other night. She goes, I'm freaking out. And I said, what? She goes, how do you know Fred Tallaksen?
Oh my God, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
my very first professional job was in Aruba at a casino, and she was Cyndi Lauper and Madonna. And I mean, she looked exactly like them. She's amazing. I mean, I would love to hear her comedy because she was always really funny too.
She's very funny. She is very funny. We're in a workshop together, and we're doing I'm doing a screenwriters workshop, and she's doing it also. So we're doing a lot of stuff together. She's actually my comedy buddy. So we bounce a lot of stuff.
I love her. I'll send her a message, of course, right after
Oh
this.
yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
speaking of Madonna,
Mm-hmm.
you've choreographed for Madonna.
Yes. Yes, I did.
So
What's the tea? You want to know? You want me to spill some tea?
I want it all.
Okay, so the skating thing from Chris, the musical Starlight Express. Do you know that show?
Yep.
Where it's like all on roller skates. So I learned to skate to do that show. So when I started choreographing, that was something that was. I did a lot of commercials in the 90s, and so I got hired to teach Madonna to roller skate. By the way, I also did Gold Member. I taught Mike Myers and I choreographed.
Yes.
That was amazing. And anyway, so I got hired to work with Madonna, which was, in my world, that's like take me to my leader. I've seen all her concerts. I mean, every dance class my entire life, Madonna. I mean, so I flew to London, and it was a music video to a song called Sorry. And so I was like, it happened really fast. So I couldn't even believe I was there. And then I got there and I met her. This is how I met Madonna. First of all, the security guy takes me to the hotel. He's driving, and they did a background check and everything. And he's telling me while he's driving, now look, I'm just letting you know. If she asks you a question and you don't know the answer, don't bullshit, because she will call you out on every single thing you say. Only say it if you're sure. Make sure you're always paying attention. And like, he gave me all like a little warning. So I walk in, and I work with a lot of celebrity-ish people, but I mean, it's like, Madonna. I walk in to the rehearsal place, and she's on a yoga mat. Like, it's this giant room. All the dancers were outside. I walk into the room. She's on a yoga mat doing downward dog. And do you know what that is, Chris?
Yeah.
So it's like a push-up, but your butt's up in the air. And she's facing me, and I walk in. She didn't even look at me. She's with her trainer and somebody else. And I walk up, and I'm standing there with my skates and her skates ready to go, And she looks up and she goes, "Could you push on my butt?" And I'm like, okay. And I think that was the first test, because I knew where to push on the butt, because she was like facing this way.
Yeah.
And you put your hands on the hip and you push like her into her like her calf stretch. So I'm holding her upper butt area and pushing it. And I'm like, do I say, is this hard enough? I mean, like, how much worse could it get? And she's like, harder. And I'm like, is this really happening? And then she goes, "Oh, that was good. Great." And then she stood up and she was really nice. But like, that's how I met her.
Oh my God.
Is that weird? Is that weird anyway? So, but yeah. So the second thing she says is, it was right after she had that really bad accident where she fell off a horse and she injured her clavicle. So she stands up. She's like, "Hi, I just want to tell you right now, I cannot skate for shit, and I cannot re-injure my shoulder, and I better not fall. That's all I can tell you." I'm like, "No problem. You're not going to fall." She's like, "Give me the skates." I'm like, "No, we have to do safety lesson first." And I made her wear all the pads and everything. And she stood up, and dude, I'm not even kidding you. She couldn't even stand up. It was like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so then I was thinking, I think I'm going to be on a plane back to America tomorrow, because this is not going to be good, And so it's like, when you're a lifeguard and you have to save a drowning person, you never jump in. You always reach something. When you teach somebody to skate, you never hold them. They're just gonna drag you down, and you're gonna fall on top of them. She's like, hold me up. And so it's completely the wrong way. We're in this roller disco, and I'm holding her hand, my arms around her waist, and I'm holding her up while we're skating. And we skated for 3 hours.
Oh my
And
God.
like, I was sweating, and like, by the end, she could hold my hand and we could skate a little bit. And then we finished. And she's like, do you think I can do this? And I said, you can do it. Yeah. No, I don't think you
Oh, you're
can
gonna do it.
but I'm saying, yes, you can do it. No, I was like, yes, you can do it. And so then I left and whatever. Then like, okay, well, you're going to stay. And I had 3 weeks to train her before the video, but like, no one told me that. I didn't know until right at that moment, it was an audition for me, you know?
Oh
And
my
so anyway, I taught her to skate. We did the video. I choreographed all the skating. It was great. And then I did the Confessions tour, which was another amazing year of my life. And just being around all those people was incredible.
You've
Yeah.
had some ride, my friend, some ride.
That's good.
And you know, she's really not, she's really nice most of the time. And you know, she never fell once. Thank you, baby Jesus. And you know, she works harder than everybody there. So you really have to respect her work
Yeah.
ethic.
You want that work ethic. You want that in everybody.
Yeah, of course. But
a lot of people on here that I haven't even been able to kind of see. Oh, Donna Moran says hello. She's on. She's watching.
Hey, girl.
So that's good. I'm glad she got on.
She said, tell him Millie says hello.
Who?
Millie. She's saying, Donna said, tell him Millie says hello.
Hey.
And all right, so
I don't have my names up. I'm so sorry. I've been like, just go, you know.
No, that's perfectly right. So I just want to, I know I had a bunch of questions. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anyone that's really, there was one that I was really curious about, was Sid Science Kid.
Sid the Science Kid.
Is that GCI? Or CGI? CGI?
It's motion capture. It's motion capture.
So
it's
how
a
do
show.
you choreograph something like that?
Well, so basically, that's Jim Henson Studios from the Muppets, from Sesame Street. That's that studio. Jim Henson Studios. Well, you know, he passed away. So his son is the director. But I got hired to choreograph that whole series, and so you go in and it's the actors with the suits with the balls all over them, and you do the choreography, and they shoot them with the infrared cameras, and they turn that into animation. And so I worked on that show for a long time, and everyone on that show is great. The director, Brian Henson, Jim's son, he's a genius. So I've done that show there, and I did another show called Word Party, which is also the same. It's like animation with motion capture. It's how they did like Avatar. It's
Right.
Yeah, it's so yes, if you Avatar CGI because they're characters, but the animation is motion capture.
All right, very cool.
Yeah.
So we have a little segment we do on this show.
Yeah.
That
This is like kind of a quick round, Fred. This is like we're gonna name this one because she's Pepper from Annie. So peppered by Peppa, who does it better? So now you're just gonna guess. Or you're going to say, this is your opinion, who's better? I'm just going to ask you a series of questions.
Okay.
Be quick. All right. Who's the better roller skater, Madonna or Mike Myers?
Mike Myers.
Canadian hockey, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, Chris, exactly.
Yeah.
How are you not a show business person? Keep going, sorry.
Right. Who's the better choreographer, Mandy Moore, Derek Huff, or Travis Wall? I hope that.
Mandy Moore for sure.
See, I actually asked Rosanne that. She's like, "Oh, she's an actress." I'm like, "Not that."
Yeah, I was thinking
The other Mandy Moore. We
Yeah.
used to be roommates. We used to be roommates. We lived together.
The actress Mandy Moore?
The choreographer.
Choreographer, okay.
She's so good. They're all good, but she's the best.
Better show, Dancing with the Stars, or Do You Think You Can Dance?
Do you think you could dance?
Yeah, come on.
Why are you not a judge? Like, what? Why would you be a judge? And you have the personality to be the judge. Like,
when that whole
great judge.
When that whole thing started, I was like not into judging people, or like I was like, you know, I didn't think it was gonna go as big as it did.
Huge.
And when I do watch those shows, I fast forward through the judges every time. It's not like I don't care, but it's what they put those people through and how they're out there. They're not just dancing, like burying their soul. And you're like, no. And
Do you find yourself judging when they're doing it? You're like, well,
I just don't think it's a competition. I just don't think it's a competition.
Right.
I just don't. Can't we just all dance and be good? Or I don't know.
all right. What do you like doing better? Film, commercials, or live shows?
Film.
Film.
Really?
Biggest budget.
Oh, yeah.
Biggest budget, more time, more sensational, more effects, more. Yeah.
Are the directors more of a pain in the ass on film?
No, they're all
They're all pain in the ass.
it's even in all of them. I've worked with some of the hardest, worst people, but and some of the nicest. So
Speaking of big budgets and special effects, for the commercial that I showed, the Wells Fargo commercial with the drumming, that was special effects, the colors that were coming in, right?
yeah.
And did they do that? I don't know how I'm trying to ask this, but like it moved with the so they did that afterwards. And
Yeah, well, we talked about what it was going to be, and they showed me what the effect looked like, and so then I made up the choreography that I thought would look good with that. So then we shot it with the green screen, and then they put in the effects afterwards.
that was very cool, very cool. I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No problem. All right, so at the Super Bowl, who is the better performer, Shakira or J-Lo?
Rosanne Sorrentino. I don't know. I don't know. I think they were both good.
Okay, all right. And now last one, you ready?
Yeah.
Who's the better dancer, J-Lo or Britney Spears?
J-Lo for sure. For sure.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. He didn't pick it. Okay. Hold on, Brittany. What? Brittany is Justin.
I like Britney the best. Britney's
Timberlake. There she is.
Okay. I love Britney Spears, but like she doesn't really dance that well. She is dance a lot. I love Britney, but J-Lo is amazing.
Yeah,
By the way, please follow Britney Spears on Instagram. It's Instagram gold.
I already do, and I know just what you're talking about too.
It's just tremendous.
What's that?
I like that 3 days later, she's like, "Happy Easter."
What is that accent that she's talking in though? I don't understand like the accent that she's been doing too.
I don't know. She's got the look. I don't know what's going on with her.
It's wildly
I don't know.
follow her on
Other than
Instagram.
Twitter.
Maybe I can get her on Brace Yourself.
Yeah, you know what? She might be available. Because let me tell you, she's doing yoga in her backyard all the bloody time.
So, Fred, how have you been keeping busy now during this quarantine? There's no production. There's no anything going on. Now it's till the 15th. They're talking about how we're going to phase everything in. What have you been doing? And then what do you see as the long-term effect
Oh my gosh.
on this show business?
Yeah. The first couple weeks was like being on a little vacation. I'm sorry that people are sick. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it was like a snow day at school. For the first 2 weeks, I did this. I slept, I tried to make sure my family was cool, and I did nothing. And then I was like, okay, I gained 8 pounds in 2 weeks. So I've been taking some online. I took a dance class. I took a ballet class. I did a little fitness thing. Every day I try to do something that one of my friends is doing, or that you could just see on Facebook. And I have a little gym here. I have a little exercise bike. I've been exercising ish. And I have been, people are still getting out and getting around. So like I've been out walking with friends, but I don't know what's going to happen, but I know this for live shows where you're going to see like a Broadway musical or a concert or anything, even dance class and dance studios or karate or all the other activities that people have, like these public places, the theme parks. How is anybody going to go anywhere till there's a vaccine, in my mind? Because like, for instance, my mom has really bad COPD. No one is going near her till we know that she can't get it. So if you have anyone in your family or a baby or anything, any kind of a immune system that's even a little bit, the family's not going to go to a basketball game and then come home. And so in my mind, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be a lot longer than people are really thinking. And I think there's going to be a lot of these live stream. I mean, I feel like This is your big chance. This is exactly what they're going to be doing. This.
Silver lining for me, you know, but because
And they're going to be going when it's Britney. It'll be some smaller version of a concert where everybody is.
What do you think? You're gonna be able to stream? You're not saying much tonight. She's not just really saying much.
She looks great though. She looks great. I think it's going to be some sort of right as this happened, right before this all hit. I was choreographing this big press event for Hyundai for this car thing. It's on my Facebook. And it was supposed to be a lot of the Korean people and owners were coming to this big press thing. Well, like none of them could come. They canceled the whole audience. It was illegal to have that many people there anyway. So we still did this giant performance. The car came out, but it was all streamed and then it was shot. And that's how they still announced the car. I think it's going to be that. It's going to be creative ways that you can see a major artist on tour on TV.
And I think that works for so many types, you know, even dance to a degree. I guess you can't have a whole, you know, the Rockettes can't be, you know, social distancing and everything, but singing, but stand-up comedy, which is, you know, what I've been doing just almost a year now. And I know that comics are really hit hard by this because you can't do stand-up comedy to a computer screen.
Right.
Because you need that feedback from the audience. So they've really taken a hit on that. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that are different, and it's going to be a huge adjustment period for people.
I have one little kind of hint towards when things might kind of get around. I choreograph a lot of corporate entertainment, and that's like my drumming shows that you were talking about and the lasers and everything. And so everything that got canceled, that whole corporate meeting, events, product launch, they have that budget, they have to spend it, and it's airline and hotel and food and staging and entertainment. So some of the ones that canceled are rescheduled for October and November. They've given us contracts. They're in their mind in October and November, they're gonna do their incentive in Hawaii, and they are gonna want to still do. And so sometimes they know something we don't. Those big corporate.
Oh, absolutely. I think that people know a lot more than we know, and we get the little dribs and drabs. But you know, like today when the governor Cuomo said, you know, May 15th. Now that's 4 more weeks.
Another 4. That's another.
That kids are not in school, you know, and.
Do you think it's going to go through the summer with the kids? What's your opinion?
My opinion is that if it goes longer than May 15th, I can't see them reopening schools for 3 weeks, because really you only have about 3 weeks in June. And even if you do, I don't see a lot of parents, like in my school alone, I am one middle school of 4 middle schools in my district, and we have 1,200 kids in our building. It is not a big building. We have 1,200 kids. So I don't think parents are going to want to send their kid to be shoulder to shoulder. I mean, when they have lunch in the cafeteria, there's 40 kids at a table.
Yeah.
No room. So I don't think that will happen this year. That's just my opinion. I don't have any inside scoop. I don't know. But at this point, May 15th, we're going to go back for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be 5 weeks of craziness because kids are they're not going to be in school. They're going to be, oh my, I can't wait to see my friends and my teachers. And it's going to be a little.
Ro, what would you do? Would you promote the kid to the next grade, or do you say you got to take it over?
Well, no, we're grading them. They're getting graded.
They're still doing their schoolwork at home, right?
Schoolwork remotely, and kids who aren't, you know, I'm calling, which is what every kid wants, is to have their assistant principal call their house and go, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing your work? Kid said to me today, Miss, I'm very busy. I said, you're performing brain surgery? Because unless you're doing that, I don't know what is filling your time. You know, you're 13, you should be doing your schoolwork. But yeah, so that's just my take on it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for the non-essential businesses. A lot of restaurants are going to take another shot for another month. I don't think a lot of them will withstand it. I think people are starting to get a little itchy, want to get back, want to just start. You know, when you're starving, the risk of going out and just trying to provide for your family is going to outweigh the risk of getting the disease and then fighting through it, and knowing that if they can come up with a therapy or they can test you at least, and that's a big deal. And we haven't been able to get there yet, and it takes time, and I get it. But
Do you have are your crews still working now, or are they?
I have some essential jobs, believe it or not. I'm building a couple of emergency hospitals right now. So I laid off about 100 guys out of my 100. So they're taking a shot. They're taking a hit. It's not easy. And they're starting to get a little itchy at home. They're ready to go. They want to come on, we can go back. And
yeah, I think everybody. I keep saying a vaccine, even though as a non-medical person, it could be a treatment. It could be something, because in my mind, I think, let's just say the social distancing through the summer, like we're doing so great. Can't you get reinfected? I mean, is it gonna
possible? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to come up with something that, look, if you get bronchitis, you take a Z-Pack. If you get this, you take that. If they figure that out, and then the vaccine is going to take a year, right? So even if they hurry that up, they got to test it. But you're right. Those two combinations,
possibly in the fall, another wave in the fall, which would be oh my God, I can't even imagine getting back to school and then going through this again.
It'd be a disaster.
And in some districts, it's listen, the parents have the resources, they have the money, they have the computers. The district that I work in, the parents, they don't have the resources all the time, and they don't have the money even. I mean, we're giving out like lunch and breakfast every day to families. They're going and picking up food because they don't have the food. So I can't imagine having to do this again. It would really it would cripple families. It really would. So I hope that we get rid of this and we never see it again, because this has been just crazy. But I want to end on a high note, Fred, because when this is over, I am coming to LA.
Yes,
I am coming to LA, and I want to see you and visit you, and I want you to show me around and everything.
And Chris, Chris isn't coming. Don't you think he'd be good?
I'm 100% coming.
Yeah.
Taking the road the show's going on the road, Rosie.
We're going on the road, baby. We're going on the road. But it has been so amazing, and I want to thank you for coming on my little webcast, our little webcast. I really do appreciate it. I'm so genuinely thrilled for you and all of your successes. You deserve it. You are the same genuine, nice guy that I met 30-something years ago.
Oh, you're so sweet, and just think, we were so young, and we just our whole lives were ahead of us, and we were like stars in our eyes, and it's just so awesome to reconnect now. We'll stay in touch now, and
oh, absolutely,
yeah,
100%.
We'll go to dance class, and I won't make you go across the floor this time.
You don't make it an advanced class. I'm very old now.
We're going to make sure that we get a little flash mob scene for the DCRP. We're going to, right, Fred? And then we can be like, hey, this is an Emmy nominated. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Pick a song. Start picking a song.
Okay, that's you, Ro.
He'll be on it like 5 minutes after this ends. He'll be picking songs. He'll be texting me tomorrow.
He'll be very excited in the group.
All right. Well, Fred, thank you so much. I love you.
Love you.
And
cheers.
Yeah,
cheers. Salud.
Yeah.
Everything. I have to go to Facebook now, and I have to find the way to.
Are people saying that Freddie never shuts the hell up? Jeez.
No. Oh my God, you're amazing. Awesome. Amazing.
All right. Love you. Thanks.
I'll figure out how to end my live video now. All right.
Bye. Thanks, Chris.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Hold on. All right, Chris, I'm ending it.
Okay.
All right, because I forgot. I can't believe I forgot how to do this. Like, what is wrong with me?
You're good to go. Just say goodbye to everybody.
Stop live stream. There it is. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you. All right.